Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's explainer. We're going to put on our psychologist hats for a bit and clinically break down a thoroughly modern, universally terrifying, but rarely discussed anxiety, the read receipt apocalypse. We're looking at the exact psychology of social silence and why our brain completely short circuits when a text message just goes unanswered. Put yourself right into this scenario, okay? You're sitting in a dim room. You're staring at your phone screen. That message you sent exactly 47 minutes ago is just sitting there, delivered, not read, or worse, maybe it is read, and there's just absolutely nothing following it. The silence is deafening. At first, you try to rationalize it, right? You tell yourself, breathe. It hasn't even been an hour. No big deal. People are busy, they have jobs, they have cats to feed. Maybe they're driving, maybe their phone literally just died, or maybe they just fell asleep. It's Tuesday afternoon. But then, that rationalization starts to crack. You think, wait, what if they saw it? What if they are actively choosing not to reply? Was my emoji kind of weird? Did I come off as desperate? And boom, just like that, your brain enters full panic mode. Flashbulb memories of literally every text you've ever sent that went unanswered start flooding in. Your rational mind, completely hijacked. The intrusive thoughts take the wheel and they start with the simplest, most brutal conclusion possible. They hate you. They're ghosting you. The relationship, the friendship, whatever the heck it is, it's over. They've already blocked you in their mind. And the spiral just accelerates right into this agonizing, hyper-specific fear of social ridicule. You picture them taking a screenshot of your message, they're dropping it into their group chat right this very second, they're laughing, they're typing, wow, can you believe this person? So the fear isn't just that you're being ignored anymore, it's that you are actively being mocked in an invisible digital space that you have zero access to. Which brings us to the absolute peak of the intrusive inner monologue. It is wild how quickly one unanswered text turns into a sweeping indictment of your entire self-worth. It whispers every deep-seated fear you have about being forgettable, annoying, or totally replaceable. You conclude that you're officially too much, or you're not enough, or somehow, impossibly, you are probably both of those things at the exact same time. It dredges up attachment issues, childhood wounds, low self-worth, and all of it is triggered by a tiny, silent piece of glass. And you know what's fascinating? How this internal psychological panic immediately morphs into physical actions. This is the exact anatomy of a digital spiral. We all do this, even if we never admit it. You start frantically refreshing the chat. You type 3 little dots just to see if your typing bubble will somehow prompt them to reply, and then you quickly delete it. You hop over to Instagram to check for that green active status dot. You close the app in a massive wave of shame, and then you open it right back up again. You are literally hunting for digital signs of life, debating whether you should send a meme, say absolutely nothing, or just fake your own death and move to a new country. Section 1. The saber-toothed tiger theory, an evolutionary diagnosis of the digital void. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it forces us to step back and redefine what a simple text message actually is. Because in our modern, half-connected, kind of lonely world, a text reply isn't just an exchange of information anymore. It's psychological validation. It is a tiny, concentrated dopamine hit, serving as literal proof of your existence. When your phone buzzes, it says to you, you matter, you are seen, you are not just shouting into the void. So when they ignore your message, the void shouts back. And this is exactly where evolutionary biology comes into play. If we compare ancient survival threats to the digital void, there is a stunning parallel. Back in ancient times, social rejection or being excommunicated from your tribe meant literal physical death. If you were cast out, you were left completely alone to face physical predators, like a saber-toothed tiger. Today, that ancient terror of social rejection takes the form of being left on read. The threat isn't a tiger anymore. It's the profound fear of being replaceable. And that right there is the core biological disconnect causing all this texting anxiety. Your brain simply didn't get the software update. Your nervous system literally cannot tell the difference between being exiled by your ancient tribe to face a predator and a delayed text message from a casual acquaintance. It treats the digital silence exactly like a saber-toothed tiger, immediately triggering a massive fight-or-flight response to what is, in reality, a completely harmless situation. Moving on to Section 2, False Predators, the digital triggers of panic. So what are the specific things tricking our nervous systems today? Well, once we grasp that our biology is reacting to historical threats, we can identify these false predators, these little digital cues engineered right into our apps that trigger this deeply ingrained panic. There's the delivered status that just sits there mocking you, the agonizing typing bubble that appears, dances around, and then vanishes, leaving you hanging. The green active status dot on social media, proving they're holding their phone but actively choosing to ignore you. And honestly, the worst fake out of the bunch, your screen fades to black, a notification sound chimes, your heart explodes with relief for a split second, and it turns out to be a single dismissive like on your story. Not even a reply, just a digital breadcrumb. All right, Section 3, the clinical treatment, rewiring your response to silence. Okay, so how do we actually stop our biology from holding us hostage over a delayed text? How do we stop spiraling every single Tuesday afternoon? First and foremost, burn this number into your mind, 90%. The panic you feel, it's totally normal. It's entirely human. But 90% of the time, the silence is not about you. Seriously, let me repeat that. It is not about you. People are distracted, they're overwhelmed, they are genuinely just bad at texting, or they're out in the real world simply existing. Remember those rationalizations you made at the very beginning of the spiral? Most of the time, they're actually spot on. So the crucial point is implementing an actionable 3-step de-escalation plan the very second you feel that spiral starting. Step 1, acknowledge the panic. Recognize that it's just a human biological reaction and consciously remind yourself of that 90% rule. Step 2, after you send the message, immediately go do something that reminds you of your worth outside of anyone's reply speed. Go touch some grass, reconnect with the physical world. And step 3, put the phone down. The tiger isn't real. You are totally safe. I really want you to remember this quote because it perfectly summarizes everything we've unpacked in this explainer. You aren't crazy. You don't necessarily have massive attachment issues just because you get anxious over a text. You're just wired for connection in a world that made it too easy to withhold it. Your biology is working exactly the way it was designed to. It's just operating in a modern digital environment it was never, ever built for. Which brings us to our final thought. If our nervous systems are still desperately trying to keep us safe, in ancient tribes, running from predators that literally no longer exist, you kind of have to ask yourself how much of your daily exhausting anxiety is actually yours, and how much of it is simply a symptom of that glowing screen sitting right there in your hand. Think about that the next time you were left unread. Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning the things right in front of you.